really looking at this other component of basically giving yourself permission to relax before you have clarity or before you have certainty, because often the other times all that rigidity and that distraction is, it's our mind's way of taking hold and trying to be in charge and be like, see, I'm in charge and I know what I'm doing. And your mind wants you to have clarity first so that you can relax. But all the work that we're doing, especially with EFT, is all pointing towards relaxing first and then letting the clarity bubble up from there. I can guarantee that is absolutely going to help you. A lot of us, we're just not used to that. We're looking to move and to do and to make so that we can feel relaxed. But really what that creates is just this momentum of, now I'm doing all the time and I can't really stop and I can't really relax. And I'm kind of burnout at all ends. When we get caught up in this energy, it can be really hard to stop and not realize that at that point we are in fight mode, fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. And it's like fight. It's very much like just trying to force things to happen. And the only people who are really have the permission to do that, because they have what it takes for that, is a manifester. But that's a whole other conversation. And sometimes, honestly, I feel like the challenge isn't even necessarily the changing of the direction. I think the challenge could be like learning where that impulse is coming from, what your body is trying to uncover, what your business is trying to uncover. That's where the business as medicine comes in again, because I have absolutely seen whatever you feel like you're bumping up against here that just is so frustrating for you is a wound or a pattern or something that's there that's to look at. Sometimes we forget that our business is also taking us through that process. And this is absolutely the work that we're getting into here, and basically allowing our system to understand that it's really not about changing direction. A lot of times it's about creating enough safety for you to hear yourself clearly and to come back to that self-trust and understanding and knowing. And so I think that is one of the patterns that your business is pulling you through and towards right now. So let's just go ahead and dive in here. If you have not done any EFT before, just follow along with me. So we start with a karate chop. If you can't repeat after me out loud, then you will just save this video for later and come back when you can. You can do these every single day, the exact same one, and feel that starting to compound. Let's go ahead and get started. Karate chop. Even though I keep questioning my direction, I deeply and completely honor how hard I've been trying to get this right. Let your body breathe when it comes. Even though part of me wants certainty before I move forward, I choose to meet myself with compassion. Even though I don't always know whether to stay or change direction, maybe I can trust myself more than I realize. And we'll move to the eyebrow. I keep changing direction. I can tell I keep questioning my decisions. I don't always know if I'm on the right path. It doesn't always feel certain to me or exactly clear. Part of me wants that feeling of certainty really bad. Part of me keeps wondering if I should be doing something different, if I should be looking for something new or changing directions. And then there's the collarbone. I keep looking over my shoulder and looking at what other people are doing and what their businesses look like. And then we go under the arm. I keep wondering if there's a better way, if I'm supposed to be doing this a different way or a better way. And honestly, that feeling is exhausting. And I'm afraid, what if I'm wasting my time? What if I'm wasting money? And what if I choose wrong? What if I make the wrong decision? And for that matter, what if I leave too soon? And there's even a possibility of me staying too long. Sometimes both of those fears are here at the exact same time. Leaving too soon and staying too long. I have this feeling, this craving for certainty before I move or before I commit or before I make a decision. I want certainty before I move, and I want certainty before I stay. And certainty rarely arrives first. It makes sense that this feels hard. Of course, I want a feeling of reassurance, and of course, I want to know that I'm doing the right thing. I've been trying to protect my time and my energy. Been really trying to make sure I don't waste either of those. And I've really been trying to avoid the feeling of disappointment or feeling like I'm a failure or this is something I should have never even started. And I've been really trying to avoid getting it wrong. And that makes me feel like part of me deserves compassion. And maybe even telling myself how courageous that I am and how brave for even trying, even making it this far. And that makes me ask myself, what if uncertainty isn't evidence? What if discomfort isn't a problem to solve? What if some things simply need more time? What if roots grow quietly? And what if clarity can unfold while I keep moving, even if I feel uncertain at the time? What if I don't need to know the entire path all at once? What if I only need to know the very next step? And even that, I can let it come to me with ease and can remind myself to let it come with ease. And what if I can and choose to trust myself the entire time and relax into that sense of trust and believing that things are always working out for me? I don't need in this moment to force myself to stay. And I don't need to force myself to leave. I choose to listen. And then I choose to respond. And I can trust what feels complete. And I can trust what feels alive. And I believe I can trust myself to know the difference. I don't need fear making that decision for me. And so I remain. And so I am. And so it is. Now take a deep breath in. Notice what's there. Notice what's softened. Notice if anything feels just a little less urgent. We can trust in that and how it unfolds. We can trust that these things come to us as gifts. And when we're relaxing into that deep self-trust, we can notice the gift. And that anytime we're trying to build out of anxiety or needing to make something happen, it usually brings us more anxiety. And so as this medicine starts to build, let's see if we notice, if we become a little less reactive, less urgent. And for me, this was a big one, but less consumed with figuring it all out. Letting it come, letting it unfold, remembering that there's nothing for us to force. And the more we let this unfold before us, the more we'll see how beautiful it is than anything we could have ever thought our way into or through. In the meantime, I'm so glad that you made it here and you're working through it with us. Thanks. Bye.